Heya Cryptozens, it's 10 p.m. Pacific time. My name is Nikodemus, and welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter, where we take a nightly look at the crypto, NFT, and metaverse space. And keep in mind, nothing in this show should ever be considered financial advice. It's 10 p.m., January 12th, 2023, and happy Friday Eve. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are going to be more skeptical about crypto companies due to the collapse of the FTX exchange. Now, this was said by U.S. Representative Jim Himes. He added that before the collapse of FTX, lawmakers may not have been as skeptical about crypto companies, but now they no longer get the benefit of the doubt. Some more suspicious people would say that lawmakers were less skeptical about Sam because of his large political donations. He donated $40 million to various campaigns, including $5.2 million to Joe Biden's 2020 presidential campaign. According to Representative Himes, some members of Congress wanted to meet Sam, and he was invited to conferences because of his donations. He said, quote, "There's no doubt that lack of skepticism was because he was known to be a donor. There were members of Congress who wanted to meet him. He was invited to conferences. Here's a very young individual who was interested in crypto, but also interested in things like inoculations and vaccines, and seems to about 190 IQ, something that's not necessarily common inside the Beltway." Now, FTX became known due to its Super Bowl ads and sports sponsorships, according to Himes. He also said that when big investors like Lightspeed and Temasek invest in a company like FTX, it can create a false assumption that it's a legitimate company instead of a Ponzi scheme. Himes suggested that the new Congress should focus on regulating stablecoins, as there's a significant amount of trading happening with stablecoins every day, and it may be the best place for lawmakers to implement a regulatory framework. Speaking of FTX, Sam has denied most of the accusations against him in a report about the cryptocurrency exchange's insolvency. He wrote in a blog post that customers of some companies under the FTX umbrella could be compensated after the company went bankrupt. He also said that FTX US had enough money, about $350 million, when it filed for bankruptcy. Further, he said that FTX International had about $8 billion in assets when another person took over as CEO. SBF also pledged to use most of his personal assets to pay back customers. He also said that after FTX went bankrupt, he had only $100,000 in his bank account and later needed his parents' help to pay bail in his criminal case, which is pretty misleading at best. His bail is at $250 million. He did not pay 1 cent. His parents didn't pay a cent. Nobody paid for his bail. Should he not show up for court, his parents will lose their house. 2 unnamed sureties, put up some combined total to satisfy the $250 million bond, will lose their assets. But nobody paid anything. Now, I don't think Sam's going to run. But saying that he needed his parents' help for his bond is misleading. That doesn't surprise me where Sam's involved, to be honest. Anyway, Sam denied any involvement in allegations that the company had used customer funds without their knowledge or consent, and said that he didn't steal any funds or hide away billions. He also stated that nearly all of his assets were and still are able to backstop FTX customers. Bankman-Fried said that a law firm and FTX U.S. General Counsel made him choose another person as CEO before the company went bankrupt, and this disrupted his plan to compensate affected users. He also mostly blamed the bankruptcy on the fall of the crypto market in 2022 and a long-term campaign against FTX by the CEO of Binance, CZ. He said, quote, "As Alameda became illiquid, FTX International did as well, because Alameda had a margin position open on FTX, and the run on the bank turned that liquidity into insolvency." He continued, quote, "No funds were stolen. Alameda lost money due to a market crash it was not adequately hedged for, as Three Arrows Capital and others have this year." The CFTC is asking a judge to rule that Ooki DAO broke federal commodities laws. The CFTC had previously sued Ooki DAO for running an unregistered crypto futures trading facility and not doing proper customer checks. The CFTC states that the DAO did not respond by the deadline, and the court should enter a default judgment against the group. The court ruled that Ooki DAO was properly served with a complaint and summons back on December 20th, 2022. The DAO was supposed to respond by January 10th of this year, but failed to do so. Ooki DAO is accused of allowing illegal trading of crypto derivatives products by U.S. citizens. The CFTC settled charges with B0X and its founders in September, and also tried to sue the entire DAO. We've talked about this before. The lawsuit was delivered through a chatbot and a forum message. Now, some attorneys and companies in the crypto industry are objecting, saying that a DAO cannot be treated like a person, and that the CFTC should have to identify the token holders behind Ooki DAO rather than serving the DAO as a whole. Which makes sense to me. Unless and until DAOs have, at minimum, the same rights and responsibility as other organizations like corporations, they can't be held to the same standard. A judge of the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California initially stated that the CFTC should try to serve at least one token holder. On December 20th, he ruled that serving Bean and Kistner, who were still token holders, met this requirement. This ruling was despite the previous CFTC settlement and a statement from their attorney saying that they had no role in the DAO. The judge said that requiring the CFTC to serve the individual known token holders after the DAO received actual notice is an extra measure to ensure due process. He added that the CFTC used all information available to serve the Ooki DAO, and it is clear that the DAO has actual notice. The service was proper and met due process requirements. The judge also stated that the fact that the lawsuit received national media coverage and there were 4 front-of-the-court briefs as evidence that the Ooki DAO as an entity is aware of the lawsuit against it. Economists at the Bank of International Settlements have suggested a new solution to the risks in the crypto ecosystem. In a bulletin released on January 12th, they advised to keep an alternative, specifically central bank digital currency. The authors, led by BIS senior economist Matteo Aquilina, stated that they learned from the crypto market downturn in 2022. They emphasized the importance of addressing the risks of crypto before they became widespread in the market. The authors of the report state that both centralized and decentralized finance in the crypto world have similar vulnerabilities as traditional finance. However, risks from high leverage, liquidity, and maturation mismatches and information asymmetries are greater in crypto. They also noted that even with these issues, crypto is unlikely to disappear. They proposed 3 potential risk mitigation actions, which include banning specific activities with crypto, containing crypto from the real economy, and regulating crypto similar to traditional finance. They also provided an appendix detailing national and international crypto regulatory initiatives within this framework. They noted that each option has its own advantages and disadvantages. For example, a ban could conflict with society's principles. However, the 3 approaches can be implemented simultaneously. Wouldn't that be nice? They suggested that central banks may want to do more to improve the monetary system by encouraging sound innovation in traditional finance. One way to do this could be to improve the speed and cost efficiency of payments. They also stated that the innovation in certain areas of crypto could be used to improve the way services are provided in traditional finance. The authors suggest that one of the best ways to improve traditional finance is through the use of central bank digital currencies, because of course they did. They claim that central bank digital currencies have multiple benefits, such as reducing the cost of payments, promoting financial inclusion, strengthening the integrity of the system, and allowing users to have more control over their data and privacy. I don't know how they could say that CBDCs give users more control over their data and privacy, at least not with a straight face. International organizations have been increasingly critical of cryptocurrency. Recently, an executive board member of the European Central Bank suggested developing CBDCs instead of cryptocurrencies. The ECB recently published an article stating that crypto is becoming irrelevant. The IMF, International Monetary Fund, has also been criticized for its negative stance on crypto. And we've got a CBDC alert, the Central Bank of Nigeria this time. Now, they're going to study stablecoins, blockchain technology, and initial coin offerings over the next 2 years. This is according to a policy statement called Nigeria Payments System Vision 2025. Now, it's a document that discusses the effects of blockchain systems on Nigeria payment system. It also mentions 11 potential benefits of a central bank digital currency, including reducing costs, preventing counterfeit money, improving tracking, and increasing payment efficiency. Notice, at no point do they say that it's good for privacy of users. The central bank believes that a central bank digital currency could improve monetary policy, prevent tax evasion and money laundering, and increase financial inclusion and economic development. Again, no privacy. The CBN estimates that it will take 3 to 5 years to launch a CBDC in Nigeria. The bank believes that a central bank digital currency can improve financial inclusion and economic development by increasing competition among existing financial institutions' retail payment products. They're also studying stablecoins. They plan to create regulations for stablecoin offerings in Nigeria. The central bank has a cautious view of initial coin offerings because of their lack of regulation. However, they see potential in using ICOs as a way to raise money for projects, peer-to-peer lending, and crowdfunding. The bank is also interested in smart contract technology. They believe that smart contracts can be used to link the transfer of ownership with settlement and to transfer ownership of financial securities or complete commercial trade transactions. They've been testing Nigeria's digital currency, the e-Naira, since October of 2021. Even so, it has not been widely adopted by citizens. A Bloomberg report from October of 2022 said that the e-Naira was being used by only 0.5% of the population. Moreover, more Nigerians are becoming interested in cryptocurrencies, according to Google search data from mid-2022. This is despite how difficult Nigeria's banking system has made things on crypto. At one point, the central bank effectively banned local banks for servicing crypto exchanges. An expert in fintech and banking, Adesoji Solanke, said that Nigerians are not showing much interest in the e-Naira. Despite efforts by local banks to promote it, the e-Naira has not been widely adopted by consumers or merchants. Solanke believes that the growing popularity of crypto in Nigeria is due to their ability to be used internationally and the potential for making a profit. He also said that it is difficult to determine if the CBDC will become widely used in Nigeria. And people's perceptions of CBDCs are on the line here. If the central bank wants to make this work, the e-Naira wallet needs to provide multiple and superior use cases that appeal to customers, merchants, and other participants in the financial system. Merchants need a payment solution connected to the e-Naira and powered by contactless devices that can read the wallet via smartphones, QR codes, or USSD codes. Solanke also believes that there needs to be more explicit incentives for each sector to adopt the e-Naira, such as zero or low peer-to-peer or merchant transaction fees, and functionality that transcends immediate financial services. Stablecoins are another complex topic given the potential risk of their increased use, quote, weakening the efficacy of monetary policy. That's one reason CBDCs could be a major theme in the economic evolution in the medium term and why central banks may look to create regulatory clarity for stablecoins. The potential adoption and regulation of ICOs would also require the bank and the Nigerian Securities Exchange Commission to work together, given that they would potentially be treated as securities or a new asset class. Nexo had its Bulgarian offices searched by police. This was part of an investigation into possible money laundering and tax violations. A spokesperson for Nexo said that the police are investigating a Bulgarian entity that does not interact with customers, but handles tasks such as bankroll and customer support. The co-founder of Nexo said that the allegations are false and that the company has strict policies for Know Your Customer and anti-money laundering compliance. As it stands, more than 300 police officers, prosecutors, and national security agents are investigating Nexo for suspected money laundering, tax crimes, and unlicensed banking activities. This comes to us from a spokesperson for Bulgaria's chief prosecutors. And finally tonight, we have some news about Nayib Bukele's Volcano bonds. El Salvador's Legislative Assembly passed a law allowing digital assets other than the Bitcoin. The law also includes a framework for issuing a bond backed by Bitcoin called the Volcano bond. In 2021, El Salvador's president announced plans to raise $1 billion with these bonds, which will be used to fund renewable energy Bitcoin mining in the country. This includes energy from the country's active volcanoes, hence the name. The bond issuance was delayed several times due to the bear market for Bitcoin. The Digital Assets Bill was introduced in November of last year, where the president's party has a majority. 62 legislators voted for the law and 16 against. Bitfinex stated that it will provide infrastructure for the Volcano token, which will help El Salvador raise capital, pay debt, fund Bitcoin mining infrastructure, and build a Bitcoin city. And that's going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank you, my listeners, because when you stop listening, I will stop talking. We'll see you tomorrow night.